welcome to another episode of my channel, The Classic Lizard Canary. For those who don't know, I'm Andy Beasley. The focus really of the episode this week is kind of a review of the 2024 Lizard Canary season from a classic Lizard Canary perspective. What I wanted to do was actually look at the various birds that had won the sections at the shows, i.e. best champion, best novice Lizard Canary, also looking at birds that had gone on to win other awards in terms of like second best Canarian show, best Canarian show, best exhibit even in some cases, because it's been a pretty dominant season for really good quality Lizard Canaries 2024. And interspersed throughout a number of the clips, I'll also add in a few of the comments from the judges that judged those shows, and feedback from people that were at the shows as well, just to give you an insight as to what happened in 2024. But effectively, it's been a really good year, some really high quality birds out on the show bench, which really bodes well for a strong and competitive season in 2025 and beyond. So I hope you enjoy what's to come, and again, like I always say, if you like what you see, hit the like button, and if you want more updates, obviously, to stay up to date, don't forget to subscribe. Take care. So the first show of the season was the National at Stafford. Always tends to be the first show. Can be a bit of an early show for a lot of people, but also particularly early from a Lizard Canary's perspective. I'm show secretary effectively for the Lizard Canary Association section of the show, and also get the opportunity to stand there whilst the judging is taking place, obviously. And Chris Jordan was the judge, a good friend this year, so it was a pleasure to sort of stand there and watch him assess the birds. We were also helped by Ian Wright and also Neville Jones. And again, we had good opportunity to kind of chat throughout and look at what was kind of going on, obviously. One of the comments Chris made fairly early on was that the first 4 or 5 classes that came up, you could see that the birds weren't quite finished off, and again, that was evident as you kind of look through. Not a million miles away, they probably only needed another week or two, but they were almost there. But again, that's kind of the sacrifice of that early show, really. The bird that really stood out on the day, I staged the birds, as show secretary, and it jumped out literally as I was putting the birds up, and that was a fantastic non-cap silver hen from Rob and Ian Wright partnership. This effectively won best Lizard Canary show. It was obviously best champion. I think it went on to win second best Canarian show as well. Now, one thing to also consider here is that Wright partnership, effectively, I think this is their 4th consecutive best Lizard Canary at the national show at Stafford. So again, that is some achievement, and congratulations again to Rob and Ian Wright. But again, that non-cap silver hen, like a number of the birds they exhibited, looked absolutely amazing on the day, but it literally stood out from the beginning. And as we were going through the champion classes, as we got to the non-cap class, which is towards the end of the classification, as we kind of put them down ready to bring them up to judge for best champion, Chris kind of said to me as we kind of move the cages, that's going to take some beating depending on what else is put in front of us during the rest of the show, and he was certainly right. It just stood out. So super bird, and again, congratulations to Rob and Ian Wright on that result with that wonderful non-cap silver hen. So moving on to the second best champion, I think it was second best Lizard Canarian show as well, and that was Noel Sydney's clear cut silver cockbird. Absolutely stood out amongst the natural birds, non-colour fed birds that were exhibited there. Super bird, super ground colour, really nice, clean, sharp cap to the bird, and the spangles lined up perfectly. It was a really good all-round bird. Not quite sort of getting ahead of the non-cap from Rob and Ian, but still a super bird in itself. My observations are that Noel's birds are just getting better and better as the years go by, and he's had particular success this year with those natural non-colour fed birds from his stud. We'll talk about his success at the Classic show a little bit later, but yeah, he's definitely been moving forward with those birds, and this was no exception. So again, congratulations to Noel on that result with that natural non-colour fed clear cap silver cockbird. So on to the novice section at the National at Stafford, and the winning bird here was a non-cap gold cock exhibited and bred by Nick Rayson. I've only known Nick a couple of years, mainly through the national show. Again, been watching his birds improve as the years have gone by, so particularly pleased for him with this result. Really well deserved, and the bird definitely stood out in the novice section. Really good dark gold cockbird. Spangles again lined up really well, showed itself off all the way through, quite frankly, and really well deserved its spot as the best novice exhibit on the day for sure. And then second best novice was a natural non-colour fed bird from Mick Tiffany, super broken cap silver hen. It's a bird I've actually seen in his bird room on a number of occasions when I visited Mick, and a bird that I know he's particularly happy with. Again, you know, stood out on the day, lined up beautifully on the back. It's got pretty extensive breastwork rowings as well, and actually some quite nice spangles running through the head from a recollection. Mick, like Nick of course, has been working particularly hard with his birds to kind of improve them year on year, and again you can see that coming through in abundance with the birds that he's breeding, and again it bodes well for the rest of the season and moving on forward into 2025. So again, congratulations. And again at the National, best junior lizard canary was Toby Ashpole. Super bird, I think clear cap silver cockbird from my recollection, but more importantly it just went on and just surpassed everything it could possibly surpass in terms of the junior awards. So first of all, we were all really pleased when we realised that that Toby's bird had actually won best junior canary, so that in itself was a massive achievement. So you know, he's to be congratulated for that for certain. And then as the judging continued, it went on to win best exhibit in show from a junior exhibit in show. So again, superb result for young Toby. Always good to see the juniors encouraged. He's really enthusiastic. See him everywhere with his dad Darren. They do so many shows during the course of the season, work really hard within the hobby, helping out as well. So really pleased to see Toby win that result. So again, you know, best junior lizard canary, best junior canary in show, and best junior exhibit in show at the National. So quite an achievement, and it kind of didn't stop there really for Toby during the rest of the season, which we'll talk about later. So now we look at the East Anglian Lizard Canary Association show, and again, you know, it was the start of a very successful show season for Nigel Higgins and of course Danny Higgins, you know, so father and son there. They show separately, so and both have an excellent stud of lizard canaries, which you'll see as we progress through the rest of the show season review effectively. So Nigel took the honours for best champion lizard canary, and that was with a really nice non-cap gold hen which you can see pictured there. Again, really nice breastwork rowings, you can see quite clearly. Really nice spangles running through the head, although you can't probably see it on the images. They ran really nicely down the back into the spangles on the back as well, which again lined up perfectly, and the bird really stood out on the day. So excellent result there again for Nigel, extremely well deserved. And then again at the East Anglian, so Danny Higgins did extremely well, second best lizard canary, with this wonderful broken cap gold hen. And again, we'll talk more about that bird during the course of the season as well, because it went on to do extremely well. So again, yeah, great result for Danny. Danny also won the award for most points at the show as well. So again, super result and a great start to the 2024 show season for Danny. So we showed you the results for third and fourth best previously, but now we move on to the fifth best at the show, the East Anglian show, and that was also best novice, and that was for Nick Rayson. And again, I think the same bird that took best novice at the National at Stafford a couple of weeks before. Again, the bird stood out on the day, lined up perfectly. What was quite interesting with the East Anglian show is, and I just wanted to kind of highlight this, a little bit like they do on the continent, I believe, in the Netherlands at the Lizard Bag show. You're allowed, whilst judging is commencing, to walk through the birds that are still actually out on the staging. So one of the interesting parts about that is the birds come back after being judged. So as you're looking at your birds on the show bench after judging, you're kind of looking to see if any of your birds haven't returned. So generally, if your birds haven't returned, that normally means they've won the class, and they're up there waiting to be judged then for best in their section, best overall. So it makes it quite an interesting day, to be fair, and quite exciting. And it was particularly interesting because I was actually spending a bit of time with Ray Anthony and with Nick and with Mick Tiffany, and yeah, those three obviously are novices, although I don't think Ray showed, he stewarded. And there was a particular class, I think it was this particular gold cop class, where none of the birds had actually returned back to the show bench, so all of that class were actually still up there. So nobody really knew what was going on with those particular birds. I think what had actually happened is the judges might have been struggling to kind of separate the birds at the time, and obviously gave the birds a little bit longer to settle and then look at them again, and maybe did it again before finally judging them. And then I think then, because they were busy with probably judging the specials, the rest of the birds didn't actually return back for some time, and it kind of made it a fairly nervous but exciting wait for those guys who were waiting for the birds to come back and find out what had happened. Anyway, eventually the birds did return back to the show bench, and Nick realised very quickly then that that gold cockbird wasn't there, and then Ray very quickly turned out and said, hey, you need to go and have a look up at the top bench, because it's up there. And like I said, it had won best novice, and it was fifth best lizard canary. So great result for Nick. And like I said, it was a particular pleasure to kind of be part of that experience and see how that was panning out, and hopefully this gives people a bit of a feel for what it actually is like at a show, waiting for those results to come through. So again, congratulations Nick, super result. And then with the natural lizards, so at the East Anglian show, the champions and novices show together in this particular classification. Also at this show, the natural lizards don't actually go up for best lizard canary, so you basically have the colour fed section, first to fifth best. You then have the natural non-colour fed section, again, you know, best, etc. So the winner of this was a clear cap silver hen from Joe Coakley, and I'll try and confirm probably before this episode goes out, but I think it was probably also the bird that had an outing at the Midland, which we'll talk about later on as well, which was absolutely outstanding. Again, super bird, and good to see, you know, Joe's birds on the show bench. I know he had you know, a bit of a disaster a few years ago with losing, you know, a fair number of his stud, so he's kind of had to kind of do a lot of work to kind of bounce back, and clearly looking at the quality of the birds that he put out at the East Anglian, and from what I heard about the Midland, he's certainly back now with a vengeance, and as a super stud of birds that clearly are moving forward at quite a rate of knots. So again, congratulations Joe with that success with best natural at the East Anglian Lizard Canary Association show. And then, not to be outdone, another show and another victory. Toby Ashpole. So Toby again taking best junior exhibit at the East Anglian All Lizard show. Now, the other thing to kind of keep in mind as well is, so within the Lizard Canary section as a whole within the UK, because there aren't so many juniors around, what we actually do is we allow the juniors to actually enter the novice classes. And I have to say, Toby's birds this year actually held their own as well in the novice classes. So generally, you know, there's certainly not an issue with the quality of those birds. So Toby's competing against novices. He's winning classes in some cases as well, which he's done particularly with this bird, and then obviously, you know, winning junior awards as well. And as you know from the national, you know, it shows the quality of the birds that he's breeding, because those birds are then going on to win other major awards like best canary in the junior section of the national, and of course best exhibit in the junior section. So again, you know, needs to be clearly commended for that. And I know, talking to Darren, you know, and Toby has his own set of birds. You know, Toby goes in, looks after his own set of birds, you know, works on it himself. So again, you know, needs to be encouraged, and let's hope, you know, others, you know, can take it up as well. But again, congratulations Toby on another super victory. So on to the South Bucks Canary show. So this was again an excellent result for Nigel Higgins. I believe it was the same bird that took best at the East Anglian. So again, that consistency. Back in the day when I kept lizard canaries in the past, you know, there were always one or two birds that would consistently win at shows, but generally you could go to 6 shows with the same people exhibiting, and a different bird would win every single time. So when you actually see birds consistently winning across the show season at a number of shows, that really does show the quality of the stud, because of course they're being judged by different people every time. So this would have been the first time Chris Jordan would have judged you know, Nigel's birds and a lot of the birds that were actually at the South Bucks show. But really good to see. Like I said, the bird stands out. As you can see, unfortunately I wasn't at the show, so I'm relying on feedback from other people, but my understanding is that this bird, again, talking of lizard canaries dominating at the shows that they've been prominent at during the UK show scene in 2024, went on to win effectively best Canarian show as well, which of course was best exhibit. So again, you know, well done Nigel, and another great advert for the lizard canary hobby. So moving on now to the Scottish Lizard Canary Association show. This show is judged by Joe Coakley. The winner at this show was Keith Johnson. Very pleasing result with a really nice gold hen. You'll see from the pictures, really well marked bird. Again, according to Joe, spangles lined up really well on the day. The breastwork was pretty extensive, so a really good result under some stiff competition up there for Keith as well, with Alex and Tom McLean, of course. So really good to see. Again, super bird. Keith always turns out a really well presented set of birds. We saw that at the National and we saw that again with the Scottish Lizard Canary Association show as well. And one of the things that Joe also mentioned was the bird really kind of held itself all day, never faltered, just maintained everything literally throughout judging, and then throughout the rest of the day before the show wrapped up. So again, congratulations to Keith again on that best champion and best lizard canary result at the Scottish Lizard Canary show. And then again at the Scottish Lizard Canary Association show, taking the awards for Best Novice was Tom McLean with a really nice clear-cut silver cockbird. You can see in the images, really sharp, clean cap to the bird, and you could probably just make out that the spangles again line up well. And again, from a cockbird perspective, pretty good breastwork as well. The rowings are pretty distinctive and in line, so overall a really good bird. So again, congratulations to Tom. So moving on to the Lizard Canary Association Classic at Rhodes in Northamptonshire. So this is kind of the pinnacle for me and a lot of people of the Lizard Canary, Classic Lizard Canary show calendar in the UK. Judges this time were Hugh Evans and David Allen, and they had a super set of birds to view clearly. You've probably already seen the earlier video I put out showing pretty much the whole show, all of the birds through the classes and so on. But again, the standout bird at this show was a super broken cap gold hen from Danny. I think it was the bird that was probably second best at East Anglia, and again, the bird went on to further success in the show season, which we'll see later. But again, super bird, really well turned out, stood out on the day. And I think the clear thing that stood out, and I was talking to John Martin actually as we were walking around the birds, and we both kind of pointed out that there's a clear definitive stamp on the birds from Danny and also Nigel. You could once you kind of gone round the birds afterwards and you'd seen 2 or 3 of their birds, you could pretty well walk around the show hall and then almost potentially identify them. Also helped by the fact normally they were first in the class or second, obviously, because they've certainly been consistent throughout the season, which I'll touch on later based on some comments that I got back in a message from Danny. But again, absolutely superb bird, and deserved its rightful place as best lizard canarian show at the Classic. And then moving on to second best lizard canarian show, again from the champion section, and this was one of Nigel's birds, so Nigel Higgins, and I believe it possibly the bird that won at the East Anglian, that won best earlier in the show season. And again, it's just testament to both studs really, but particularly Nigel in this case, where that you kind of see that level of consistency, and I'm sure this bird would have pushed Danny's bird all the way for that best result. So again, another super result for Nigel. So again, congratulations there. So moving on to third best champion at the Classic. So again, that consistency of the stud. So I believe this one was Danny's. This was a silver cockbird, as you can see, which again, excellent ground colour. You can really see that darkness and strength of colour through the chest, and again for a silver male, carrying some pretty extensive breastwork rowings as well. and again would have lined up, you know, really well on the day. So again, you see that stamp, that shape of the bird, that look of the bird running through. So again, congratulations there. And a classic show wouldn't be a classic show for me without my good friend Alex McLean taking some awards. So he won 4th best champion, and that was with a really super broken cap silver hen. Again, really extensive breastwork, you could see, lined up beautifully on the back. Spangles running really nicely through the head again. Nice shape to the bird, held steady throughout, really stood out. It's a long old trip for Alex, and again, Alex, like other people, probably shouldn't really name people, but Alex travels all the way down from Scotland. He was down the night before working with Noel, setting up the staging. Probably one of the first in the show hall as a result the next day. And again, you've got to think the birds have travelled all the way down the day before, so they've got to be prepared, early in the morning the previous day. They've come down, they've been in the show cages overnight. He's gone in, set up the staging, and then brought them in, and then they still stand out like they do. So again, congratulations, Alex. Really pleased to see that you won that award. Well done. So the novice section, I think it was probably the first show Ray had showed at in 2024 from a recollection, and what a turnout. Again, excellent team as always from Ray. It's his last year actually as a novice, so next year 2025 he actually goes up to champion status, and he won the novice section I should say, with this really nice clear cap gold cobbled. The bird itself, I think the judges' comments at the time were it was really, probably it would have pushed for further honours, maybe up in the sort of second, third, who knows, best from a show perspective, but it just got a slight little overrun on the cap, very slight, and that was the only thing that kind of stopped it going further from the top bench honours outside of the novice section. But again, super bird exhibited by Ray. His birds are always well presented, always line up really nice on the back. Again, Ray is another one, works really hard within the hobby. He's seen stewarding in lots of places, often bump into him around the show scene. So again, congratulations Ray in the final year as a novice with that victory at the Classic. And then it was great to see my friend Mick Tiffany taking second best in the novice section with this gold hen. Beautiful bird, extremely well marked in terms of breastwork, with the rowings lined up lovely on the back again as always. Just that bird from Ray's was just that little bit further ahead of it in terms of overall quality for a cock bird, I guess. But again, Mick's got some super birds, really moved on this season, and it was really good to see him taking some honours at the Classic show, being of course that pinnacle of our UK Classic Lizard Canary show scene. So again, well done Mick. He works particularly hard for the hobby with his YouTube channel, Tweet Street. Love what he's doing with that. I've said it a million times. It's inspired me to do what I'm doing from a YouTube perspective. Again, we don't compete from that perspective. We work very closely together, as you'll actually see on some upcoming footage that we'll both be sharing shortly. So it's really great when you see people working in the background for the benefit of other people, to see them reaping the rewards as well. So again, congratulations Mick, well done. So best natural non-colour fed lizard canary was one of Tony Horton's, so this super gold cockbird that you can see on the pictures that are coming up. Again, as usual, Tony puts out an excellent team of non-colour fed natural lizard canaries. You got to remember, Tony's a former world champion when we were showing on the continent with his non-caps, and he's consistently had super birds for many years now. Chooses to not colour feed. We obviously provide classes for non-colour fed natural birds, and Tony's normally ahead of the game in terms of results on the UK show bench, and it was good to see that consistency continuing yet again. So another hard worker at the Lizard Canary Classic Show is Noel Sidney. So Noel only takes care of the catering for us, looks after us all, makes sure the judges are well fed and watered. He works really hard for the club. He looks after the staging, keeps it at its place on behalf of the Lizard Canary Association, and again, you know, was in the show hall the previous evening with Alex, getting everything set up for the show. So again, always really good when you see people who work hard for clubs also getting results. So this fantastic clear cap gold over year, I seem to remember, natural non-colour fed bird did really well for him and managed to get a highly commended award from the judges Hugh Evans and David Allen. So completing the lineup at the Lizard Canary Association Classic Show was our best junior, Toby Ashpole, doing what he does best and competing at the shows and getting another great result. Well done, Toby. So now on to the Southern Lizard Canary Club show in Wendover in Buckinghamshire. This was a show that I visited for the first time in 2023. I've never had the opportunity really to show there previously. Really enjoyed the whole experience. Really good group of exhibitors, really friendly, really enjoyable show. Although my birds were there this year, I was really disappointed not to actually be there myself, but again, as been said before, you know, family comes first, and we had family commitments that weekend, so it is what it is. But I'd have loved to have been there, and I'd love to have seen the birds on show. Thankfully, Ian Adcock took some video for me, so I managed to get a little bit of a feel for it, and it was great to see Danny taking the honours again for Best Lizard Canarian Show, Best Champion of course, with I believe the same bird that won the classic, so that Super Gold Hen. So again, well done Danny. Again, as I've said before, to get that consistency like with Nigel as well, running through a show season really takes some doing. So again, congratulations, you deserve it. And it's really good to see from a novice perspective, my good friend Mick Tiffany cleaning up on the awards in the novice section with that Super Gold Hen again. And again, you know, consistency through the stud. You know, Mick has been working on a few different lines with his birds to kind of move things forward for himself. And I'll touch on it in another episode on my little on the road trips, which we'll talk about. And you can actually start to see that mark and you know, sort of coming through certain lines of the birds that he has. So again, really good to see. Chuffed a bit for Mick, and again, good to see him reaping the rewards of all of the efforts. So again, well done, Mick. Just wrapping up on the Southern Lizard Canary Club show, I forgot to mention, first of all, of course, the judge was David Allen. So again, thanks David for your efforts judging at the show. And unfortunately, although I've not got any images, Tony Horton, of course, won the natural section with a non-cap gold hen, I believe, from what Tony shared with me. Like I said, unfortunately, I haven't got any footage or any images, but again, congratulations, Tony, on that result. Well done. So now looking at the Midland Lizard Canary Association show, the winning bird here, we mentioned it I think a little bit earlier when it comes to the East Anglian show where it took Best Natural Lizard, but this wonderful clear cap non-colour fed natural silver hen was Best Lizard overall for Joe Coakley. Birds were judged by Andy Williamson, and one of the comments which I will probably share with you in text as well from Andy was that this is what he regarded as a once in a lifetime bird. Literally had everything. So again, congratulations, Joe. The fact that the bird has kind of consistently held itself throughout the season, and again, Joe is another one, works really hard. I think day before he was actually judging somewhere, then travelled up overnight to the East Midlands area, ready for the show the next day. He acts as show secretary for the Midland Lizard Canary Association, as well as doing it for the East Anglian, and he was also judging I think coloured canaries and a few other birds at this show, because the Midland is incorporated within Ilkeston and Ererosh CBS show. Furthermore, the bird then went on to win Best Canary at the show, and again, from a dominating point of view of the lizard canary at these all variety shows this year, it then went on to take Best Exhibiting Show. So fantastic result for Joe, really well deserved, and again, also it sounded like a broken record, but good to see the people who are working hard within the hobby reaping the rewards with one, quality birds, two, some success from those birds as well. So again, congratulations. Another pleasing result, two really nice people, Phil Underwood and Chris Swain. They took the best colour-fed, champion colour-fed lizard canary in show at the Midland Lizard Canary section, and great result for them. I think, again, I wasn't there at the show, but looks like a super silver. Again, great result. Their birds have been consistently getting better and better as the seasons have gone on. They formed a partnership, I think, this year, and I can see they've got some real good quality birds that are going to be challenging people a lot in the champion section as the years come. So again, congratulations to both of them. Really well done. And then on to the novice section. So again, Ray Anthony, further success. I know Ray's not done so many shows this year, and again, this is his last season as a novice. But what was interesting here is he took the novice honours with a different bird to the bird that he won with at the classic. So looks like a non-cap gold. So again, congratulations, Ray. As always, really well turned out set of birds, as you can see, and again, Ray's another one that works really hard within the hobby. Always one of the first to volunteer for stewarding, always one of the first to be there putting staging up and taking it down. So again, Ray, congratulations, and look forward to seeing your birds in the champion section in 2025 and beyond. And completing the honours at the Midland, Toby Ashbold with Best Junior Lizard Canary. Another great result for Toby, making the season a complete success with wins at every show he participated in. So wrapping up really the season with the Hailsham All Lizard Show. So really good to see Carlos de Santa Ana taking Best Lizard Canary at that show. Now, I actually messaged him because when I was actually going through the footage that Ian provided me with from the Southern Lizard Canary Club show a week or so before, I was second in the Clear Cap Gold cock class in the champion section, and Carlos's bird won the class, and it literally actually stood out to me just on that short piece of video footage. So it was really good to see that he did well with that bird at Hailsham. So again, congratulations, Carlos. I know you've had birds for many years and you've worked really hard with them, so it was really good to see. So again, congratulations and well done. So just wrapping up the season, so thinking about the birds that really stood out and really clearly some standout moments from the season. So Obviously, first of all, without doubt, that non-cap silver hen of the Rob and Ian Wright partnership, taking the best lizard canary at the national award for the 4th consecutive year was a great achievement, and then going on to win second best canary. Then Toby Ashpole, winning the junior award at the national, but then going on to winning best junior canary and best junior exhibit in show at the national was again a fantastic result. So again, well done Toby, really well deserved, and again well done for all of your other junior wins throughout the season, at the Midland and at the East Anglia. So again, congratulations, well done again. Then I think the other, thinking of the silvers, because we've already touched on the non-cap silver hen of Rob and Ian's, that clear cap silver hen clearly of Joe Coakley's, winning at the Midland in particularly, and then going on to win best canary in show and then best exhibit in show at what is a very, very strong Cage Bird Society show. So again, really, really well done to Joe for that result. It was really excellent to see, and what a super bird that is. Really, really stands out with that natural, non-colour fed plumage. So again, well done, Joe. And then really on to, as Mick says, the Higgins boys. So Nigel consistently, winning with the gold that he's been successful with all season. And if it wasn't taking the top honours, then he was taking the second best honours, and equally the other way around with Danny. The birds absolutely, stood out. So I've got some notes from Danny actually. So what he basically said, yes, it was the same bird that for him, obviously, that won at the Classic and at the Southern, and yes, for his dad, it was the same bird that won at South Bucks and won at the East Anglian, and then subsequently the second best birds at those shows were the same birds for each of them as well. He basically said overall across 4 shows they had 10 birds that were on the top table, of which there were 7 different birds from their respective studs. So again, super result. The only other show they did was Hailsham, where Nigel got second best there, but again that was second best to, again, that what we wrapped up with really, that bird from Carlos. So again, what a show season. And again, going back to Danny and to Nigel, that consistency across those birds, and there's definitely that stamp there, lined up beautifully, and just to have the same birds holding their own over 4 or 5 shows throughout a season. It's very easy for the birds to kind of drop off, but they didn't, and that's testament a lot to the preparation of the birds as well, and the husbandry of the birds. So again, congratulations. So wrapping up, I think it's been an excellent season. It's been really good for me to see, people like Noel having some success as well with his naturals, Tony consistently winning as he always does, and also to see the results from the novice section. Ray obviously doing well again, and then we'll see him in the champion section next year, and then to see Nick Rayson and also Mick Tiffany doing what they're doing from the novice section perspective as well. It really bodes well for the lizard canary fancy, the classic lizard canary in 2025 and beyond. So with that's my wrap up for the 2024 season. I'd like to take the opportunity to wish everybody a happy Christmas, all the best for the new year. Stay safe, travel safe, and keep enjoying the hobby and keep enjoying the channel. Thank you and goodbye.